You know what I'm really in the mood for? Cooler World. It's a great PS1 game when you're a ball eating fruit and finding keys. Sounds thrilling, doesn't it? Let's try and find it on eBay so I can play it. Oh no. That's more money than I remember it being. Why is it so much when you're just a ball rolling around eating fruit? I can't justify paying that much money for a fun game when you're a ball rolling around eating fruit. Well, good thing I have the demo version of the game, which I got for like less than a $5 maybe. Yay! I love this game! Hello and welcome to PlayStation Access. My name is Rosie, and with PlayStation's 30th anniversary happening at the end of last year, it got me thinking about one of my favourite elements from the retro era of PlayStation's life: the demo discs. I can't believe I'm saying this, but nowadays the retro era is considered to be the PS1 to the PS3 generations.
How is the PS3 retro? Where did the time go?
For those of you who may not know, demo discs were brilliant, discs, which stored snippets of multiple games and trailers for you to experience before the full game was released. Or sometimes even after the game was released. In the UK, they came with the official UK PlayStation magazine, which started in 1995. You then got PlayStation 2 demo discs, coming with the official PlayStation 2 magazine, and following this, you got PlayStation 3 demo discs coming with the, can you guess it, official PlayStation 3 magazine. PlayStation 1 and 2 demo discs were very similar, in the sense that everything was contained on the disc. Just put that legend into your console and boom! Play some games. But the PS3 started changing the disc's formats. So for these demos, once you put the disc in, you needed to install the games you wanted to try to your console first before playing it. But once this was done, you had access to the demo without the disc being inserted. And to compare these to nowadays, we still get PlayStation 4 and 5 demos, but we get them online through the PlayStation Store. And some of these can be big deals, as rather than offering 5 to 45-ish minutes of gameplay like the previous generations did, you can play the whole prologue! And sometimes your progress in the demo moves over to the full release. Or you get exclusive charms in the main game. Or there are demos which aren't even from the final game, creating their own unique experiences. Like Resident Evil 7's teaser demo Beginning Hour, which was set in the baker's house, but you had slightly different puzzles, and you're being stalked by someone creepy.
Unbelievable! This is the last time I work with that guy.
But for our trip down memory lane today, I want to talk about my personal favourites, the PS1 and PS2 demo discs. Because I love them. Firstly, what were they like? Brilliant! You had a huge variety of games to check out on one disc, and the snippets shown were a reasonable length. You always left wanting more. A few games offered multiplayer. Demo 1 on the PS1 gave you tech demos. If there was a gaming event, you'd get a taster of how cool it was. This looks really cool, to be fair. You'd get what the PS2 demo discs called extra videos, like Heather from Silent Hill 3 singing one of the game's songs. And the trailers, I never really watched, I won't lie. I just wanted to play the games. But looking back on them, they were hyped! I don't remember the part in MGS1 where Snake put C4 literally everywhere. The menus where you selected what you wanted to see were the coolest things in the world. The PS1 went for these hypnotic, striking visuals. Whether they were 3D or 2D, you just sat there and stared at them as they were so satisfying to watch. Apart from this one, which is pretty creepy. I mean, what is this? A wall of mold? Is it breathing? Ugh. And I love this one, just because it screams, "Play Vib Ribbon, please!" As for the PS2 era, they went for cool and slick vibes, but they had loads of arrows. Why are arrows a prominent theme on the PS2 demo discs? I'm guessing it's because arrows are arrowsome. And the music for these menus was always iconic. But one thing which I never appreciated back in the day, but love now, is that there can be subtle differences between the demo versions of games and the final product, mainly from the PS1 era. I love this, as it shows a lot of games were still a work in progress whilst we were trying them out. there were sometimes different visuals. An example I love pointing out is that in the Ape Escape demo, Spectre is in a woven basket-looking environment, rather than this colourful play area which was in the final game. Or sometimes games didn't have music, which made Kurashi so much more intimidating and horrifying. There were missing voice recordings and sound effects. And there were some elements added into the demos which showed what you weren't allowed to access. Like Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, which put up a sign saying, "Nope, you're not seeing this yet. You have to wait." Which I think is brilliant. So that's a rough idea on what the demos were like, but why do I think they were so great? Oh, they were great for so many reasons. A big reason for me being because they allowed you to play games which were hard to come by. Hard to come by? You mean like rare? Not necessarily. Yes, you could play games which were considered rare even back then, like Tumby, which I'd consider a famous one for this, as every time I talk about this game, there is always someone who says, "I love the demo for this game, but I can never find the full thing." But remember, we were playing these in the 90s and early 2000s, a time when we weren't able to just buy a game online and wait until it gets delivered to us. If you wanted a game, you had to go to the shops and see if they had it in stock. And also, now this was a personal thing for me, I'll admit. I was a kid! I didn't have money or the luxury of having a gaming shop in my little village. If I wanted a game, I had to either ask Santa for it, hoping that I'd been good enough that year to receive it, or I had to wait until my parents took us to the shops, hoping we'd go into a shop which sold games, look at the shelves, keep a very keen eye out for the games I loved the demos of, which a lot of the time, sadly, weren't there. And then, if it was there, try to convince my parents on why it was the best thing ever and beg for it. Essentially, the fate of which games I had were on my parents and Santa. So having demo discs meant that I could play loads of games I loved whilst dreaming about owning the full version one day. They were also great because the demos didn't only give us great tasters for what's to come, but the quality of the sections chosen for the demos always seemed superb. I know Crash Bandicoot 2's stage Bear It so well because I played it on loop thanks to the demo. My favourite song in Jamalami is Fire Fire, and can you believe it, it's the song they used for the game's demo. I could sing along to the song in this level of Airblade. A Dog's Life? Yeah, I know the farm so well, I basically live there. The demo to Eco left such an impact on me, I used to play imaginary games of it. I lost my demo disc which had Sly Raccoon on it, and forgot the name of the game, but I always remembered the demo and Sly's design. So when I finally saw Sly on the cover of Sly 3, I screamed and bought it immediately. And my brother and I played the demo for Anna Kournikov's Smash Court Tennis loads, because even though you only had one court and a few players to choose from, that's all you needed to get some great matches going. I say great matches, I was terrible and he'd always win. And some demos seemed extra great because they got some fancy treatment, such as this Tekken 3 demo which came with its own black case with only the logo on the front, or how some demo discs came with full releases of games. Or the fact that a demo for Spyro the Dragon lives within Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, which you could only access via a code. These felt like secret demos to me, as when I spoke about them to my friends, it was like,
"Oh, did you know you could do this in Crash 3?
Or,
Whoa, look at this box. I have no idea how my parents got it, but it's so cool.
and
Special stickers!"
another great thing is that PS1 demo discs had Net Your Rose games. These were games made by anyone who had a specific development kit, their own PC which met certain requirements, and basic C programming skills. I have no idea what this means. So you'd make a game, send it to PlayStation, and huzzah! It would end up on a demo disc for all to play. But really, this 90s graph explains it all. So enjoy looking at it for a couple of seconds. That's enough. I always had a great time checking out Net Your Rose games, so to give you an idea of what they were like, here are the ones I remember the most. Pushy 2, a great puzzle game with really satisfying sounds. Rockin' Gems, one of the most intense digging games out there, as everything is incredibly fast-paced, and when you die... Clone, a terrifying Doom clone where you shoot these creatures amongst the darkness to practically no music, and it's very unnerving. And speaking of terrifying Net Your Rose games, Haunted Maze, a game which I can play with ease now, but as a kid I could barely get past the title screen, where you run around a maze collecting lucky goodies whilst avoiding being eaten by monsters. But the monsters go, "Roar!" And when you die, you go, "Oh!" I also remember Blitter Boy, where you try to save babies from ghosts. When you find them, they go, but if the babies are disturbed, they go. This scream is embedded in my brain. And my two favourite Net Your Rose games of all time were The Incredible Cone Man, a 3D Pac-Man inspired game with the most chilled and smoothest song ever. And if you touched a ghost, the sax got involved. And finally, Super Bub, a puzzle game which you could play alone or against someone else, where you need to destroy a wall of bubbles before it reaches you. But you play as some fun characters. Look at Chump's face over there. I'm going to win. And listen to this track. So as you could probably tell, I love these things. I thought they were brilliant back then, and I still think they're brilliant. They're so unique to their time, and I love them so much for it. The graphics and music for the menus being the most 90s and 2000s aesthetic things I've ever seen in my life. The choice of screenshots and text they use to advertise the games. I wouldn't be allowed to show you what Jake the dog said on one of the covers. The trailers going all out to show you how their game was the most exciting thing in the world. Demo discs define an era of gaming and of my life. And though that era is over now, there are so many games that have a special place in my heart that demo discs introduced me to, including one of my favourite games of all time, Parappa the Rapper. Yep, if it wasn't for the demo discs, I would never have been introduced to the best rapping dog, Parappa the Rapper. I played Chop Chop Master Onion's stage loads, trying to actually rap good, as well as repeatedly press buttons because it was funny. And I remember playing it way past my bedtime, which would have been, like, what, 8 p.m? What time should kids go to bed? The Parappa demo means so much to me that when I saw this specific demo in a retro shop, shout out Super Tomato, I squealed for joy and bought it immediately. I was so happy to be reunited with it. So thank you for being awesome demo discs, and thank you all for watching. Did you grow up with PS1, 2 or 3 demo discs? Do you have any fond memories with them? Let me know in the comments. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and hit the notification bell so you stay up to date with the world of PlayStation. Thank you all so much for watching.
PlayStation